this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, glowing up, but we still trapped. That's how a nigga survives. Flowing out, got the crowd packed. Yeah, that's how a nigga provides. Y'all insta this, y'all snap that, y'all diss this, and they snap back. Another mass shooting in the headlines. I'm like, damn, where that attack at? Cause y'all think this about race. They font that shit in your face. It's like every day it's the same agenda. It's really not that hard to trace. Fuck it, we might as well face it. Accept it, whatever it's wrapped in. There'll come a day when they run out of grace. So me and my niggas stay trapping. Yeah, ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Hey, someone be too who I wanted to be and then what I became. Ended up going my own way, but I couldn't stay in my lane. Now if I'm honest, I've taken a liking to wearing these chains. They hold me down, make it easier when I start feeling the pain. Out of the overflow, your heart, they say your mouth speaks. Well, my heart must be fucked up, cause I can't speak and I can't sleep. So I stay woke in this daydream. Got shit to do, got the world to see. Got the same crew, got some new fleets. There's an empire, fuck a boutique, that's real. I only say what I feel, got a new plate with the same meal. On a new hype with the same chill. Y'all too fake, I stay real. Got cast down from heaven, but I'm too good to stay in hell. I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like, oh well, oh well. Yeah, I keep writing like, oh well, oh well. Yeah. Hey, I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like, oh well, oh well. Yeah, oh well. We ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah. This shit. Swole fam, y'all better run this up. KD, let's go. Yeah. Aye, East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang. I'm blessed, I never said I didn't struggle. I finesse, I never said I didn't hustle. These niggas talk so loud, the way I move is subtle. I'm the ocean, but these niggas just a puddle. I swear I'm delusional. These niggas, they using me. They want my energy, ain't nothing new, this is usual. These figures confusing me. What's gotten into me? They say I'm using their cubicles. Clipping KD like some cuticles. None of this shit is excusable. Don't need a muse when I'm musical. Ay, whoa, I'm tired of saying for truth when nobody's doing it. Yeah. They're controlling the youth, agenda abusing them, nigga. We losing them. Matter of fact, we just abusing them. That's a fact. We try to roll with a ballad act. Fucking low key with a Tesseract. They throwing smoke when they got it. Get the fuck up out your little bubble. They wanna ask how much it costs, I said it double. Gorilla beer, these niggas only rockin' stubble. The realest nigga make these bitches start to stumble. Aye, East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang.
normal.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
What's going on, Beaches, Booshes, Busses, Hustlers, and Yo-Hos? It's your boy Papa Swole back with another episode. In today's episode, the Beastcast is brought to you as powered is sponsored by Everest and K2, flexing on all you Beaches.
It's the fucking kettle in the wind.
The fucking kettle in
All
the
right,
wine.
fam. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. We're live on Rumble and YouTube at the Daily Swole, and of course, you can catch the replay, catch the other episodes on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Yesterday, we had a roundtable event, so the membership episode was available for members only, and that's available now inside Swolenormous X. So download the Swolenormous app, join the fam today, and check out the roundtable from yesterday. I'm not posting filler episodes on Spotify anymore. So if you see a gap, if you see something missing, it's a members only episode, and or on the weekends, we have members only episodes as well. So I might post some retroactively just to let people know where they are. But it was a great conversation yesterday. Anyway, all the private episodes, roundtable events, as well as weekend episodes are exclusively for members now. Make sure you join us over at swolenormousx.com so you don't miss out on that. Good roundtable, good RT. So let's get into some Swole Fam posts, and then we'll get some questions, and we will have a good day and making sure that you get to the fucking gym. Cerny says, great rise and Swole this morning. John's stories were awesome to listen to. If you didn't make it, listen to the replay. Hashtag love this fam. Indeed, it was great. Thank you for sharing, Cerny. It was a very good time. Yeah, appreciate everyone that showed up. John was there driving his truck. Good time. And appreciate everyone for being there. Megan says, hi, everyone. I'm new. Figured I would do the introduction thing. I'm a divorced single mom of 4, and I work midnights to work around the kids' schedules. And I've been putting myself last, trying to change that. I would like to lose about 20 pounds, and some muscle would be nice. I'm an absolute beginner and looking forward to being involved with all of this. Well, welcome to the fam, and really stoked to have you. And I guess I'm assuming you're going to be starting with the 90-day dash program. That's what we would recommend, but let us know if you have any questions. Welcome, Megan, to the fam. Super dope. Love new members. And we also have another one. Michael says, just wanted to say hi. Signed up a couple days ago, and I'm working through the materials, mostly focused on diet at the moment. So, of course, make sure you ask any questions that you have about the elimination diet, and let's get you started with that. So we got a bunch of new peeps. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come one, come all. Come one, come all. Let's make those sick gains together. Now, let's get into some questions. I will load up the other interwebs, and that way we can get some more people up in here asking questions. And of course, the roundtable is available for members if you missed the live stream. It was yesterday at 9:30 a.m., so bright and early for some of you. It was a good time. Lots of stuff. I don't even know. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about firearms. We talked about the military. We talked about fitness. We talked about all sorts of different things. So very cool. Very, very cool. So that was yesterday, Roundtable 89, and that's available in Swole TV. So if you missed it, catch the replay. Now we can take some questions, drop them in the comments down below. Hashtag Ask Papa Swole. Let's get into some questions. We got the first one from Instagram Stories, EMMV777. Papa Swole, what is the best way to gain weight? Eat more food. Well, there you go.
Matt Damon.
We got the first question straight out of Matt Damon territory, straight out of Team America World Police. What's the best way to gain weight? Eat more food. But if you want to build muscle, you need to progressively lift heavy weights. You don't want to just get, unless you want to just get fat, then just eat more. If you want to get fat, just eat more. All right. Sometimes we get retarded questions. That was one of them. All right, let's see. Decently everything. I doubt you're decently everything. This looks like shit poor, piss poor. Decently everything asks, can I still be fit with a hot Cheetos diet? No, that's a retarded question.
Matt Damon.
Cool. Sounds like we're going to have a 5-minute show today. Drop your questions in the comments. Richard Guizado. Papa Swole, why leg day is important? Because it's more like half your body. You want to walk around like you're on stilts? No one wants to see that. No one wants to see your skinny ass legs. Men shouldn't have a thigh gap. Testosterone, overall mass. Why is leg day important? So you don't look like a tool bag? What kind of question is that? By the way, hashtag FEF for a chance to win today's Swole card. Hot Cheetos is probably the second worst thing next to Brussels sprouts, carrots, and kale. Hot Cheetos is garbage. That's actual just fucking poison. With a Hot Cheetos diet. So we're not even talking about eating Hot Cheetos. We're talking about a Hot Cheetos diet, which means you eat primarily Hot Cheetos. That's a dumb question. So we're choding. We're choding today. We're choding. If you're watching live on Instagram, make sure you drop your questions in the comments. We'll stay here as long as we got questions. Crypto Revenant. Papasolio, best shoulder exercise. There is none. We want to make sure you hit the anterior medial and posterior head. So posterior pec fly or cables for rear deltoids, and a shoulder press and a lateral raise, or a Smith machine upright row is fantastic for the anterior and medial head. So a shoulder press, some sort of a lateral raise, posterior, simple. There is no best, but progressive overload, that's what you need. Cal 2404, question from Germany. Do I think boxing is a good workout? What does that mean? What's a good workout? You going to sweat? You going to be tired? What are you trying to accomplish? If you want to be better at boxing, then do boxing. If you want to build muscle, lift heavy weights. Height friendly, Papa Swolio. Any tips for starting the day with alive? Any tips for starting the day with a live, persistent, energetic meal or juice? It's a rough start. That's a rough start. Any tips for starting the day with a live, persistent, energetic meal or juice? I don't even know how to answer that question. Should you start the day with a meal or juice? You can have juice. I mean, you can... What? Some people like to eat fruit earlier in the day, primarily. I don't even know how to answer that question. That's not even coherent. I get it. Sometimes English isn't the first language, or maybe it's the seventh language. I don't know. Use a translator. I don't even know what that means. Sometimes I know if there's a typo and I can help you out. And it's okay if you don't speak perfect English. I get it. I can't even answer that question. Goddamn.
Hi, puppy.
Oh yeah, Tainty Man snoring. He's got his head donut on, so he's snoring. He's out. Pinkston Churchill's all curled up too. All right. Eric Reichers, Papa Soul, your opinions on supplements, particularly things that claim to support testosterone production. Look, you want to improve testosterone, get sunlight, get quality sleep, eat steak and eggs, eat high quality animal proteins, and lift heavy weights. That's how you boost your testosterone. I don't dabble or recommend magnesium's important, but these are supplements that aren't necessarily, hey, it's going to boost testosterone. But if you're healthy, you're going to have quality testosterone levels. So it's much more important to avoid things that are like testosterone boosters. You want to make sure that you're getting your macro micronutrients and having good lifestyle habits. Don't underestimate the power of getting sun and getting quality sleep and eating quality food. Mark, did Tainty Man kill any more iguanas recently? No, not lately. I usually open the back door, wait a couple moments, and they scatter, and then he runs out there. The iguanas know when the back door opens, we're releasing the dragon. So Tainty Man, he's got 2 kills. So no new kills lately, but he's always on the hunt. He's always ready. He's always ready for another one. So iguanas beware. Sterling Papasolio, does static stretching have any material benefits on mobility, or should we just focus on dynamic stretching with weights? If we want more flexibility, I have a desk job and try to... Cuts off. Static stretching can be fine. Yin yoga is essentially static stretching, your long holds, but you really have to hold that for a long time. So I would do mobility. I would do weighted mobility. or muscle activation. So you're balancing. Remember, a lot of times limitations are because you have muscle imbalances. So if your hip flexors are weak, strengthen your hip flexors. If your hamstrings are weak, stretch and strengthen your hip flexors. I mean, your hamstrings, right? You're doing Nordic curls, or you're doing Jefferson curls, and you're doing hip hinges and things of that sort. So it's important to make sure that you have strength through a full range of motion, and creating proper balance and proper strength and mobility on all sides of the joint, depending on how the joint moves, right? With the hips, you want adduction, you want the frontal plane, you want it in the transverse plane, you want it in the sagittal plane. So make sure that you're strength training through those. A lot of times people have weak hip flexors. They have tight, but usually weak. So just because a muscle is tight, I mean, you also have the ligaments and the tendons that are usually weak and insufficient for balancing out the tension around a joint. And it's also really important to choose exercises that work for you. There are going to be certain exercises that if you have issues with one, like for example, bilateral squats, if you have knee cracking or any kind of pain, it's a mobility issue. It could be your patellar tracking. You might want to try something like Bulgarian split squats or single leg press or something along those lines. So there's a lot of great options that you can work around or find and kind of analyze and see what feels better. And if you pick something, you find something that feels a lot better, then it can give you some insight as to mobility and things that you need to improve. So you don't want pain, right? If you have like any kind of like clicking or things like that, or that's one thing. If you don't have pain, that's one thing. If you do have pain, that's another thing. So make sure that you aren't just working around issues. You could temporarily work around things, but you want to make sure that you gather that information, then address that with proper training in order to improve those concerns. So there's a lot of times where, let's say my knee might bother me on a certain movement. I adjust my foot position on a leg press or a hack squat, and I usually can work around that. But I like things like Bulgarian split squats. A lot of times unilateral movements allowed your patella, allowed your femur, allows the rotation to shift slightly. And then where you might have had pain or discomfort, some sort of friction before, then all of a sudden you don't. And these kinds of things raise their ugly heads over time. And scar tissue or meniscus or issues that you might have had in the past sometimes come up with certain exercises. So it's great to have, you don't have to do every single exercise. And just because an exercise works great for one person doesn't mean it's great for another. Just because squats, barbell squats work great for one person, you might not have the mobility for it, or you have to adjust your ankle position, elevate your heels, and do things that allow you to get into that position better and safely. Not everyone has the same ankle mobility. It could just also be genetic, and you have to adjust that accordingly. All right, scrolling back down. Gym Busters, not the Ghostbusters, Gym Busters. Check it out, papaswole.com. We got 20% off merch. Go check it out. Mariha, how to increase range of motion for lunges over 60 years old. In terms of what? In terms of your knees or your hips? So making sure that you are strengthening all the muscles around your hips. So yoga is great. But working those adductors, a lot of times people have very poor mobility and poor strength. They don't train their adductors. So Copenhagen squats, Cossack squats, very important. Even the adductor machine, important. If you have knee issues, reverse sled and step downs is fantastic. And Jefferson curls, start light, build up slowly over time. And you could also do knees over toes lunges. You can elevate your heel, but start with your foot elevated. Start light. Again, when you're trying to improve range of motion and doing mobility, you don't push through pain. You should never have pain when you're doing mobility. Very important. Reverse sled is one of the best things you can do. Reverse sled. Do I even lift? No, I don't. I never lift. I never go to the gym. I just tell you guys to. I never lift. Can't you tell? I have no muscle mass. No, I haven't lost mass, but I appreciate the trolls. How do I know? My strength has improved dramatically, and I put on a lot of weight. Put on a lot of strength. Put on a lot of muscle. You're watching on a front-facing camera on my iPhone, so. Definitely didn't lose anything, that's for sure. Definitely did not lose anything, that's for sure. Christian. Papa Swolio, what are the best wraps for pulling and for holding weights? Say single leg with lunges, thanks. The best like wrist straps? It depends on which ones you like. Some are more expensive than others. Versa grips are great, but they're a little bit pricey for some people. There's Cobra grips and there's other leather ones and canvas ones. Just pick something, find something that you like and use those. There's really no wrong way to go about it. Sometimes the things like the Versa grips are great because they release quicker. If you have the canvas ones and you wrap them around a few times, sometimes you let go, they might get stuck. So you want to be careful. You want to make sure that you wrap them properly so you're not going to get caught when you're trying to get rid of the weight. So the ease of use and the quick release and the ability to let go and it unravels, sometimes those things can get stuck. They have, for me at least, in the past. So you got to be careful with that. The ones that I use, I mean, I'll get Versa grips, but after several months or a year, a lot of times they break down, they fall apart. So you have to get new ones, but those can be like 60 to $100. So I'm sure they make a lot of different brands out there. Hassan, do I recommend taking creatine? Yes, I do. Some a-hole facts. Do we necessarily need to have both pull and push exercises? Of course. You're going to have joint problems, but why would you just do like chest and not train your back? Or why would you not train your chest? Why would you not train pushing? Why would you not train half the body's movements? That's ridiculous. It's like skipping legs. Of course you have to do both. Main Marshall, Papa Swole, some people are able to get strong but not build much muscle. Can you explain how getting stronger progressively builds muscle? Is a diet the difference along with it? No, it's progressive overload. You can get stronger without building muscle. It's neurological coordination. It's neuromuscular coordination and motor unit recruitment. But building muscle will increase your strength. And improving your strength is a byproduct and a path of building muscle. So if you're not getting stronger, you're not building muscle. But you can get stronger with new exercises or with coordination, with form and technique without building muscle mass. Because it also comes down to the nutrition, and et cetera, et cetera. And there are some potential like genetic factors depending. Some people's muscle bellies are different. It also depends on how they're training. Also depends on how people are training. Training only training primarily for strength, like powerlifting, you're training for a specific outcome. You're not training for bodybuilding. So it's going to be different with maybe volumes and things that you use. Mike, have you been sending out Swole emails lately? Yep, we send them out regularly. Maybe you did mess something up. Just sign up again. Maybe it got trapped. Maybe it got trapped in promotions or social. If you didn't open for a little bit, maybe Gmail or whatever you use flagged it. Not necessarily every day, but we send it out a few times a week. We were running some specials recently. So if you're already a member, you might not have gotten a couple of them. Sometimes emails can be weird. Whether you open them regularly or not. And you might want to do a search and check your other folders. Check your other folders. Maybe there's something. What motivated you to make content? You mean starting the brand and starting the podcast? Getting a message out to more people rather than just going to a gym and training people one-on-one, because you realize what people don't do. You can't get people, even as a personal trainer, you can't get people to take action. You can get people to come, and then they eat like shit outside the gym and they flake off, just felt more like a glorified babysitter after a while. So I wanted to reach more people, and the best time to start is now. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Second best time is now. And you got to go all in. You got to just do it. You just got to do it. So I learned everything by doing it. I learned everything about business and content by doing it myself and building a business. So I've done a lot of education and teaching. So I wanted to put it out where it was going to reach more people. And here we are. Been some iterations over the years, right? It hasn't always been the same. Hasn't been always the same exact type of content, but going on, this is the 10th year. So we just passed the 9-year anniversary of the podcast. Yeah. Ooh, Pam says, I just saw a hummingbird. Nice. I'm looking forward to hummingbird season. We don't get those in the summer. It's too hot. Too hot. We get them in the spring and the fall. Looking forward to seeing them again. We got all the feeders and all the hummingbird plants, but we don't get them in the summer. It's too hot. It's too hot. But we're seeing them all the time, every day. So looking forward to it. Planted a bunch more plants that are really great for hummingbirds. So excited for later this year, maybe November, December. I like your shirt. Thank you. Vinsation. You obviously go to the gym, but seriously, what program or app do you recommend to follow? Check us out, swolenormousx.com, the Swolenormous app. That's where we have all of our programs. We got hundreds of yoga and mobility classes and master classes, full programs, micro programs, private live streams, tons of stuff. So the Swolenormous app, you can check it out. Link is in the bio if you're interested. I'm supposed to be grocery shopping. It can wait till the podcast is over. All right, we'll get you grocery shopping soon. Evil hummingbirds. I'll take any hummingbirds. If they're evil, I'll take an evil hummingbird. Why are they evil? All right, some a-hole. I get that, but those are two different types of muscle groups. If I'm already doing tricep pull, what's a tricep pull? You mean tricep push down? Do I need to do a tricep push for the same muscle? I don't think you understand what you're saying, just to be honest. What's a tricep pull and a tricep push? There's no such thing. Elbow extension or elbow flexion. So maybe you can clarify that. I think your terminology is off. So maybe you can clarify. Do you mean doing biceps, like elbow flexion? Mark says, did my shopping this morning, got meat marinating in the fridge for the Instapot. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We just had some bacon. Had some bacon and eggs a little while ago. Had some bacon and eggs a little while ago. Had some burgers with bacon and cheese and, an egg on it last night. It's fantastic. It was great. It was fantastic. Best meal ever. Great meal. It was a great meal. High protein, high fat, animal based. Danny, do you have any thoughts on the passing of Hulk Hogan? Yeah, legend. Rest in peace, brother. Yeah. People go, man. That sucks. What a legend, though. You can like him or dislike him, political, personal life, whatever, but man, talk about legend. Undeniably a legend, though. Michelle says, shopping as we speak, is $285 for meat too much? No, if you get enough of it. Depends on what kind of meat you're getting. If you're getting like two, what do they call them? The tomahawk ribeyes, you're getting like 2 or 3 of them. Those are expensive. So if you're getting grass-fed beef, you're getting ground beef, you're getting a ton of beef. Yay, yay. Joe Biden doesn't let you have good meals. Oh.
Come on, man.
I posted on X. You guys see that graph that the Democrats account posted and they removed it? Because they're like, look at the inflation. The inflation's worse than it was. And the graph that they posted literally showed how once Biden got into office, everything just shot through the fucking roof, and kept on going up. And they deleted the post because it was like the worst post of the year. They literally just self-owned and then deleted it. Oh my God. I'll bring it up on X. We'll do that after we get through some more questions. If you missed it, it was really funny. Everyone's looking at it like, yeah, I don't think it was literally Princess Bride. It was like
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
It was like, I don't think that graph means what you think it means. I know what you're trying to do with the graph, but I don't think that graph. I don't think you did what you thought you did.
Then there's something wrong with you. You're certainly not very good.
Loretta says in Canada, you can get 2 T-bone steaks for $55. $55. $55. T-bone. Every time I hear T-Bone, I think of that Seinfeld episode where Costanza wants to be called T-Bone. T-Bone, T-Bone. And they call him Coco. Coco the gorilla. Nice. All right, I'm doing triceps extensions and tricep pull downs on the same workout as push day. What's the difference between a tricep extension and a tricep pull down? What are you talking? I still don't know what you're talking about. A tricep push down? There's no such thing as a tricep pull down. Are you talking about doing it underhand? Which is, you don't need to do that. That's worthless. So this and this is still a tricep. It's a tricep push down. $55. Sheena says, I get my meat from a farm in Maine. I get 20 cuts of meat for $2.60. Oh, shit. That's pretty solid. What is that per pound? Because 20 cuts, it's like, okay, but how much are you getting? Yeah, underhand tricep is nonsense. I've been trying to get to finishing the overhang, like the canopy for the gym. Remember I told you guys yesterday, the day before, 2 days ago, that I was been building it out. I haven't started the roof yet. It's been so hot. Every single day it's like bright and sunny, which is good. It's good weather to do some building and construction. But metal roofing, and it's like 95 degrees and pure sun. I have to wait till like 5 or 6 o'clock to even consider doing it. Too hot. I'm not going out there at noon. So I'm gonna have to either get up really early and then do it late. I gotta split it up. From like 10 to 5, it's just roast city. Too hot, fam. Too hot. Too hot. Yeah, people should spend more. Look, people should, I'm not saying spend more money, because it's not necessarily about the price, but you should allocate more resources. People should prioritize their food. People should prioritize their food. They don't. The worst thing to see is someone like a fat guy getting out of a fancy car. It's like you care more about your car. You spend more money, more time and energy on your material possessions than your body. It's stupid. It's stupid. Sterling, Papasolio, what's with all the different grip positions? Is it pointless unless you're a professional bodybuilder then? Well, I mean, grip position, it depends on, grip positions matter, but it depends on the exercise. The question you're asking is, does the position change the mechanics of the movement? So that's not, the grip position is irrelevant unless it's relevant. Does that make sense? If you're doing a bicep curl, then it matters if you're supinated or you're pronated, right? If you're doing a reverse curl, you're going to hit more of the brachioradialis. If you're doing a neutral curl, you're going to hit a little bit more of the biceps brachii and a little bit less of brachioradialis. And if you're supinated, you're going to hit more of the biceps brachii. So for a bicep curl, it matters. For triceps, it doesn't matter if you're pronated or supinated or neutral. It's just if you're supinated, you're not really getting as much grip. You're better off doing like a neutral position. And that's why a lot of times people use cuffs. They'll use cuffs or use wraps. Because if I'm trying to do triceps, I don't need to grab with my hands onto the bar. I can use a cuff or loop straps, and I can eliminate my grip as the weakest point, right? The same thing for doing stiff leg deadlifts or RDLs. I'm not trying to train my grip. If you want to train grip strength, then train your grip strength. If I want to do Kelso shrugs or T-bar rows, I'm using wraps because the bar is going to, after I do like a rep or two, the bar is going to slip out of my hand. So my grip will fatigue before my traps and before my, lats and all that stuff. So use straps in order to make sure that you bias the area you're trying to work on. So for triceps, it doesn't matter what your position is, but for biceps, it does. Same thing. So for back, it's not the grip position. It's more your elbow position and how wide you're grabbing. Like if you're trying to hit your lats and you're grabbing really close, that you're not hitting the actual lats as well as if you had a wider, more like even grip with the size of your body. So it's your elbow. In terms of elbow, it's your humeral position. It's how abducted your humerus is, your shoulder joint position. So all the positions matter, but it matters. And that's why different machines and different that's why different exercises have benefits. Again, it's pros and cons. So when someone says, what's the best exercise for whatever it is, I can't give you just like the best exercise, but if you say, hey, which one is better? A barbell bench press or a converging machine press, I would err towards the machine press. But of course, if the strength curve is bad, if it's a machine where it doesn't overload the muscles in the best place, a barbell bench might actually be better. And this is why it's important for you guys to figure it out. Not everyone has access to the same things. You could use bands, you could use chains, but bands are great for a couple different exercises. And for a lot of body parts, it's not ideal. Bands are not ideal for bicep training. Bands are great for triceps and glutes. So it really depends on what you're trying to target. So cables are great, but for certain exercises, setting up a cable machine might be a pain in the ass, or you might not be able to stabilize or get the right angle. But for some exercise, it's awesome. Does that mean cables are bad? No, it just means that if you compare two different exercises, let's say you're trying to hit the glutes and it's like, okay, should I do, I don't know, a barbell squat for glutes, or should I do a 45-degree banded hyper? Well, if you're trying to isolate the glutes more, a 45-degree banded hyper would be better for glutes. But overall leg mass, doing a squat is fantastic, or a hack squat, or a leg press, or a pendulum squat. That's great for overall mass. All right, fam, drop your questions in the comments. Today is Friday, so we're doing the FEFcast. We do not have an overtime segment today, but we will next time we do have a DWG, which will probably be next week. Like I mentioned, we have the new body creams and hair oils that are imminent for launch. We are going to be launching the pre-sale potentially. I won't give you too much. It's like in the next few days, like it's coming. So we're about to take pre-orders and stuff and launching it very likely at the first week of August. So it's going to be awesome. Very excited for that. John says, preference is a factor on grip. I get more bang for my buck curling with a straight bar as opposed to easy bar. The straight bar activates my forearms as well. Yeah, so if people have an issue with a straight bar versus a slight easy curl, it's really not that much, right? It's slightly less supination. So you're still going to hit your biceps brachial. Like, it's totally fine. It's not like you have like a slight angle and all of a sudden you're not hitting your biceps at all. So you got to figure out what feels best for you. But of course, objectively, it's better for the biceps to be targeted more in the lengthened positions, like a preacher curl. You could do a straight bar preacher curl. But for some people that bothers, you know. So it depends. Mobility matters. So again, it's great because we have a lot of different tools. There's a lot of different tools. And if you find an exercise that you get great results with, that feels great, you know, like I love this exercise. This one feels great. I really like it. I enjoy doing it. I look forward to doing it. I get great results. My joint feels great. When I do A, B, and C, it bothers my elbow. But when I do this, it feels great. Then do the thing that feels great. It's not that complicated. So I'll have certain exercises, like I've been telling you guys, for whatever reason, when I do my Smith machine, JM press, like it doesn't feel good on my elbow. I can kind of get it to work, but I prefer doing other exercise where I can really send it and I can go a lot harder without the concern of like, oh, my elbow kind of feels a little bit irritated. And who knows what the fucking reason is. Maybe it's something in my joints. Maybe it's because I played baseball for 20 years. Maybe it's just the angle or whatever it is. Like you do have different muscle insertions and different mobility with your forearms, with your elbows. So some exercises are going to feel great and some are not. So find something that's stable that you can overload and then do that and get stronger with that. Yeah. Let's see. Cerny says, just wanted to know I lifted 10-pound dumbbell for 10 reps, felt pretty good, but didn't want to push it. Can I get a hell yeah? Yeah, you can get a hell yeah, Cerny. I said, hell yeah, let's go.
Are you not entertained? entertained?
Cerny's back.
Are you not entertained?
Just take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy. Rehabbing sucks, but you got to take your time. Take your time. Detox lungs and liver. I don't know what you're spamming in the comments. Cool. Detox your lungs and liver. Cool story. All right. Boom, 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 boom. By the way, a reminder that weekend episodes will be private for members only. So we'll post those in the Swolenormous TV, in the Swolenormous app. So if you are a member, you'll get these weekend episodes. So tomorrow and Sunday's episodes, private for members only. Join us, swolenormousx.com. Sign up today, join the fam, and you'll get your episodes right quick.
I didn't like him anyway. He wasn't right in the hat.
Some a-hole. I feel more results with chest flies than with press, but I do them anyway because it seems like the right thing to do. Follow coach's workout. Well, here's the thing. A chest fly does the same thing as a chest press. Like a pec deck, for example, same thing. So look at my upper arm, right? Pec deck. Press. Don't forget, the chest attaches to the humerus. So it doesn't matter if you do this or this. Same movement. Same movement. So you don't have to do a press. And this is why I recommend, look, if you have, and sometimes when you're doing certain exercise over time, and this is why doing things like a push day can lead to elbow problems, because all that pushing, if you're doing chest press, flat press, incline press, shoulder press, dips or tricep press, you're just doing repetitive movements, extension of the elbow. So if you're doing a chest press, maybe you want to do a lateral raise, cable or dumbbell, or an upright row. And then for triceps, you do a triceps extension instead of doing a compressive, you know? So again, pick your priority. If you're doing a shoulder press, then maybe you do a fly and a tricep push down. If you're doing a JM press, do a pec deck and do a lateral raise. So if you have issues like that, a lot of times it's from overuse and from not balancing out properly, or do biceps with chest. If you separate your days, I like upper lower. I think most people will benefit tremendously from doing upper lower. I don't think you need a push day and a pull day. I do not think it's the most effective. I think more people would get more out of and training more intensely, doing less volume and focusing more on recovery, doing an upper day and then doing a lower day. It's weird. People have one leg day and they'll have 3 or 4 upper days. Doesn't make sense. I'll have a chest day and then a back day and then a shoulders and arms day and one leg day. It's like, no wonder your legs are skinny. You're training everything else 3 times in the week, right? You're separating your upper body into all these little segments and you're doing legs once. And you wonder why your legs don't grow. And it takes time. Most people aren't patient. It takes time. It's going to take you years to build a lot of muscle. It's going to take you years, not a couple months. It's going to take you years. Hey, I've been training for 3 months. I don't see the results I want. No shit. It's called fucking going to the gym. Let's say you start saving and investing and buying Bitcoin, for 2-3 months. You're not going to see improvement. This is for 10, 20 years. You're training for the rest of your life. You're not going to see results in the short term. Plus, you're going to lose them anyway. You're going to die eventually and break down muscle. The whole point is to do something and do it consistently and progressively over time. People don't balance their shit out and they're very impatient. And this is why people quit and they don't get results and they're trying to do things with short-term gratification. Hey, what if I do my arm like this and I turn it like this and I turn it like that? So I'm going to do curls like this. I'm going to do hammer curls. I'm going to do reverse curls. I go, oh, this is so different. So different. Oh, we have all these people And these chodes on TikTok and stuff, and all these kids are doing all this isolation work. You are like 110 pounds soaking wet. You should not be doing isolation and concentration curls. You should be lifting fucking heavy. Do heavy compound movements. Do them frequently. Train hard. You got to build muscle all over your body. People are isolating. I'm trying to build my lower lat. Well, you can't target the lower lat. So good luck with that shit. And this is how people stay skinny. You got to lift like a savage. Train hard. Lift more weight. It takes time. Lots of time. Mark says 21-year-olds think they know it all. Well, they just, you don't have any wisdom. You don't have any wisdom. And the problem is everyone that has a social media account, you start promoting, they just hear what someone says and then they just parrot it back because they want to get a following. So they don't have any wisdom behind the information. They just repeat what they hear someone else say, and understand that I've been training for 25 years. All right. So the way I train and the choices that I'm going to make are going to be different than what I would recommend someone who's 21. And the way that I train now is different than when I trained when I was 21. I make much better decisions, but my body is also more worn down. When I say worn down, it's just like I know over the years what I can and can't do. I know what works better for me. I know what I can get away with and what I can't. And I understand my proximity to failure and how much will fatigue me. And if I do that, it's going to be way too much. I'm going to be too sore. That's redundant. It gets more important, especially when you're going really heavy. Okay. When you get really strong, I'm not saying I'm the strongest person in the world, but when I have 20, 25 plates on a leg press, when I have like 5.5 plates on a pendulum squat, I don't want to do redundant exercises. I'm not going to do front squats and back squats and deadlifts and Bulgarian split squats. And I'm not going to, and then do other, I'm not going to do 20 sets and hit the same muscle in every, I'm not going to do 20 sets and hit the same muscle in every single one. I'm going to be so fucking sore. That's damage. That's not stimulus. That's just beating a dead horse. So the whole point of the way that I train now is not the minimum required necessarily, but it's the maximum minimum. It's the maximum recoverable volume. The intensity is going to be high, but I want to do as much as I can that I can recover from. And by most people's standards, it's not that much. So for a body part, if I'm training it twice a week, I'm going to be probably doing 2 to 4 sets in a session. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. And I'm going to make sure that the exercise selection doesn't hit the same muscles. And I'm going to rotate those exercises through. I'm not going to do the same literal exercises every time I train. I'll rotate them through. So last time for legs, the other day, I did, what'd I do? I started off with some like forearm stuff, and then I did Bulgarian split squats. The fuck did I do actually? I did Bulgarian split squats and I did dumbbell weighted hypers. That's it. I didn't do leg extensions for a couple reasons. My machines were covered, so I didn't want to uncover them and go do the leg extension. And same thing with the leg curl. So I just did something simple. You don't have to do a leg curl in every session because I know I can do that in the next session. So the dumbbell hypers were great for hamstrings and for glutes. And don't forget with and adductors a little bit, but for my Bulgarian split squats, I'm getting glutes and I'm getting adductors. I don't need to do Bulgarian split squats, weighted hypers and curls and extensions. Like I could do that. But again, I'm getting adductor work with my Bulgarian split squats and the glutes. So next time I train legs, maybe I'll do leg extensions and leg press and maybe the adductor machine. I'll hit a different angle, but there's redundancies. So maybe you don't send it as much or do as much volume or push as close to failure because you're doing a different exercise for a little bit more variety or less sets, depending on the flow. because you're hitting all these muscles. You could just send it more on certain exercises and you'll have a shorter session, but also you'll encompass. You don't want redundancy. You don't need that. Remember, another workout is coming up. So I went really hard on the Bulgarian split squats and I went hard on the dumbbell hypers. Why do I need to do other things? I don't need to do 2 more exercises. I'll do it next time. I'll do it in a day or 2. Totally fine. If you're constantly neglecting and never doing a curl, never doing a Nordic curl or a seated curl or a prone curl, yeah, you're going to miss out on certain things. You're going to miss out on, but you can just rotate that in like every other leg day. You don't have to do every single thing in every single workout. You can't, because you'll be there for 5 hours and you'll just be beating a dead horse. Main Marshall, Papa Soya, would a squat, hip thrust, bench press, weighted chin up alternated with deadlift, reverse lunge, overhead press, and row every other day make sense? Squat, hip thrust, bench press, a weighted chin up alternated with a deadlift. What does that mean? A superset? Reverse lunge? It's redundant. Instead of a reverse lunge, you're better off doing like a Bulgarian split squat. A reverse lunge is going to be redundant with a squat and a hip thrust. See what I mean? You're doing 3 exercises that's hitting the same thing. And also you have to look at these exercises. Think of how fatiguing that is. A squat, very fatiguing. Hip thrust, not as fatiguing, but to be honest, I don't have a hip thrust machine. I've been looking and thinking about what I want to do, if I want to get a kickback machine or this. But for me, to do a hip thrust, I don't want to put the bar down and put on 4 or 5 or 6 plates. It just takes time and the space that I have. It's a pain in the ass. So I usually skip the hip thrust because just the setup time is a pain in the ass. So I'll do a 45-degree banded hyper or elevated step back deficit lunges or Bulgarian split squats. I'll hit the glutes that way rather than a hip thrust. Hip thrusts are great, but it can be a pain in the ass to set up a bar with that kind of weight. A bench press, I don't know what the chin up alternated with a deadlift, like on the same day, like you're just doing the same exercise 4 times, reverse lunge, deadlift, hip thrust, squat. You know, you want something that's knee flexion and you want something that's like hip extension. So you're better off there doing like well, I'll leave that. You can follow up on that. You don't need a reverse lunge and a hip thrust in the same workout. Because a hip thrust, you're targeting more the glutes, and a reverse lunge, you're hitting the glutes and the adductors. And depending on your knee flexion, quads. So you're getting a lot of redundancy. You could save a lot of fatigue and pick one, right? You could just do the reverse. You could just do the lunge, the Bulgarian split squat, and leg extensions. That'll hit every muscle in your legs, aside from like the hamstrings, and do a leg curl. So it depends, right? RDLs are not for hamstrings. Stiff leg deadlifts are a little bit more for hamstrings, but the hip hinge component, you're not getting the short head as much. You're getting isometric, but you're not getting the knee curling component, the knee flexion component. Thomas Schwartz says, had that problem with the pump app, fucked up my knee. Are you referring to like repetitive movements? This is what I'm talking about with like a push day, right? People might be like, ooh, dips or a JM press. Oh, I see someone doing a JM press. Cool. Oh, I see someone doing a shoulder press. Cool. And a bench press. For me, that's way too much pressing. That's press. Like your elbows are going to get fucked. So in other words, you can rotate them. All those exercises are great, but you can not do them all in the same workout. On a day, if you want to do heavy dips, that's cool. But on that day, probably do a cable or dumbbell lateral raise. And then do flies. Do like pec deck or something. So you're not putting as much pressure on your elbow over time. You only have one body, man. You only have one of these joints on, you have 2 elbows. Like, take care of them. You don't need to be beating the same thing up, especially when you're training heavy. And what I meant before is like, it's different when you're new. You're not using crazy loads. Even though you're new to it, you're using 10 pounds or lightweight. And sure, you'll get sore and all that stuff. But when you start getting really, really strong, meaning you've been training for a while and you're putting on a couple 100 pounds on the bar. When you squat, you're doing 200, 300, 400 pounds. When you're doing rows, when I do T-bar rows, there's like 5, 6, 7 plates on there. The weight gets really, really heavy. So doing a ton of volume is just ridiculous. The last thing I want to do is more, I want to do as little as possible. And as little as possible doesn't mean the bare minimum, but I want to do what I need and no more than what I need. I want to maximize what I can recover from and then not do anything more. And I'll be honest, sometimes, you mess up and you're a little bit sore, like, oh, I overdid it. And wow, I got more sore from that. I shouldn't have done that extra rep or that extra set. And then you learn and you keep that, you track it, you write it down, and then you avoid that issue next time. Main Marshall says, when I say alternate, I mean it's a day and a day off the deadlift. Okay, so you're not doing that in every workout. So you're doing one day, you're doing a chin up. So why would you do a chin up and then a deadlift? What does that? Why would you alternate a chin up with a deadlift? That's not even close to the same body parts. And if you're doing a weighted chin up, I would recommend doing a weighted wide grip. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that doesn't make sense. What I would recommend is you alternate some of those other movements. Like do a squat in one session and then maybe a Bulgarian split squat. But again, it's still a squat pattern. You don't need a squat pattern every leg workout. Just giving you some perspective. So if you're doing legs twice a week, you can do a heavy squat pattern. Again, when you start getting really strong, let's say you're doing hack squats. Me thinking about doing hack squats twice a week makes me like, Jesus Christ, I'm not going to be able to recover from that. And it's not that I couldn't do 2 hack squat sessions in a week. It's just that I don't know how, that for me, that wouldn't be maintainable. I'm not going to be doing eight hack squat sessions in a month is my point. So sometimes, for example, I did 2 consecutive workouts. I did like a heavy Cybex squat press, but I didn't do a third one. So sometimes I feel like doing it 2 times in a row, but then I'm like, okay, I did this 2 sessions in a row. Let me give, a week off or like a session off from that, do leg extensions and maybe something, you could have a leg day that's more quad biased and then a leg day that's more glute biased and hamstring. It doesn't mean you don't do any quads, because if you're doing a Bulgarian split squat with not as much knee flexion, you're still getting your quads. You're just not prioritizing the knee over toe. You're not elevating your heel. You're not focusing on quads. You're still working your quads. If you're flexing and extending your knee, you're working your quads. It just might not be the primary stress for that movement. And that's also safe and it's smart, because understand that every body part is going to recover differently. So if you find that your quads take a lot of damage and they get sore really quickly, cool, then you have to monitor and adjust the exercise you choose for those, for those movements. And this I've talked about before. If for certain body parts and certain movements, I know if I do this exercise for my triceps, I'll get really sore. So I have to be careful with proximity to failure and how much volume I do. Because I might be able to get away with that for a couple sessions in a row, but then eventually it's like, oh, I'm too sore, my elbow hurts. You have to know your limits and how to adjust and move things around. Oh, if something's a little bit, this kind of feels a little bit finicky. Cool. I know this exercise feels great. So I swap something else out, do that for a little bit and then come back to the other one and then maybe decrease the volume or the intensity and adjust. Yeah, training to complete soreness, training to fatigue, and training to feel sore for a week is dumb. You're just wasting your time. You're creating unnecessary damage. A day was bench press. Let me bring it up on screen. Bench press. A day was bench press. B day, overhead press. It's confusing. A day, squat. Why don't you just give me A day and then B day? Don't like... A day. A squat. And why? Okay, so again, why do squat and deadlift? What kind of deadlift? Do RDLs or stiff leg deadlifts? Don't do conventional ones, in my opinion. All right, so 8 bench press and then 1 day is overhead press. That's cool. You could also do a high incline. You'll get a little upper chest and you'll get reverse lunge B day. And the next one, a chin up day / row. I'm just saying, why would chin up or row? We're back. Hopefully it doesn't freeze again. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was. Screen froze for a second. Just make sure when you're alternating, I would say make sure you're alternating a higher So there's going to be certain exercises that are going to fatigue you more. Okay. So what I would recommend is if you have 5, just give me an example. Maybe this helps. 5 exercise on day A and 5 for B. Let's say you're doing 5 and 5. Make sure you don't have 5 heavy, ridiculous, compound, fatiguing movements that train the lengthened position on day A. And then on day B, you have other stuff. Blend it up a little bit. Do like 2 compounds on A and then 2 compounds on B. It'll spread out the fatigue and make sure you're hitting all the body parts. That program was given by a fitness influencer. He was probably retarded. Yeah, maybe. Very likely most people are retarded. Or they have a percentage. Most people have everyone has a percentage of retardation. Some have higher than others though. So it sounds like you're trying to do some sort of total body, which is cool every other day. Again, if you're training muscles from lengthened positions, they're going to be more fatiguing and cause more damage. So rather than doing a seated leg curl, you might want to do a prone leg curl. Like doing a stiff leg deadlift is going to be much more fatiguing than doing a leg curl, right? Think about this. Doing a squat or a hack squat or a Bulgarian split squat is going to be more fatiguing than a leg extension, right? They hit different muscle groups, but just understand that there are certain, think about that. Like which exercise are going to wipe you out. To do a squat, a deadlift, a Bulgarian, like an overhead press. If you're doing an all-in-one workout, that's exhausting. So consider that. Consider that. Ooh, shake weight. Shake weight's great. All guys come with their own personal shake weight, so you don't have to go buy something for that. Just close the door, lock the door, get your favorite lube, and shake your weight, baby. Shake your weight.
Because emotional damage.
John says barbell work will earn beast levels, no doubt about it. Great stuff. But squats and deadlifts in 1 week, yikes. It's just going to get you more. And again, certain exercises, you're going to have to figure this out too. If you find that it takes you longer to recover from certain movements, it could be the intensity. It could be a novel movement. If you do an exercise for the first time, even if you've never done prone leg curls, for example, or a leg curl machine, and you go hard the first time you do it, you're going to be really sore. That doesn't mean, wow, that's more fatiguing for me. There's also neuromuscular and stretch adaptations and things that happen from a new movement or the strength curve. So if you're doing a new exercise, especially one from a lengthened position, leave a rep or so in the tank, be mindful of the volume, see how you feel, and then implement it and then push it harder over the next subsequent weeks. You're not building muscle right away. You need to get used to an exercise and then you can start sending it more. And this is what I talk about. If you're finding that you hit a fatigue roadblock and you're lingering soreness and you're like, oh, I'm still sore, or oh, this still hurts, and your programming sucks, right? So when I do different types of splits, I always tend to come back. I find myself, I try different things still, but I'll come back to certain things again over time. If you're paying attention and you're testing things and you're really changing variables like in small pieces, really micro movements with your variables, you're going to be able to isolate certain things that that are factors. So you're going to learn certain exercise, and you guys all have that. What's an exercise that you do? What's an exercise that you do? Drop in the comments. What's an exercise that you do that really takes you out? Whether it's just like emotionally, psychologically, or just like you're sore as hell. Those exercises, you have to be mindful of your proximity to failure, your load, your volume, and the frequency of that, and where you do it in a workout. If you're doing full body, and if I do hacks, if I'm doing full body, I'm not going to open with hack squats. I'm going to be fucked up for the rest of the workout. I'm just going to be like, I'm not going to want to do anything after that. I've done, seriously, a minimalist leg workout is going on the hack squat and doing like 3 sets. Just go all out on the hack squat, and there's your leg workout for the day. Like, no joke. So if I do a leg press or I'm doing like a heavy compound leg movement, unless I'm doing like 2 exercises like I did last time, I did calves. So I did Bulgarian split squats, 2 sets each, and I did 2 sets of dumbbell weighted 45-degree hypers. That was it. And I still got sore and I feel good and it was great. Cool. It was more of a minimalist leg session. I was kind of drained a little bit. It was just been hot, and I just wanted to keep it simple. I wanted to focus on 2 things. Let me pick up 2 great exercises. Felt great. Awesome. If I'm doing some adductor work, I'm doing leg extensions first. If I do 4 exercises, I'll probably do the leg press or the hack squat or whatever that is last or second to last, because after I do that, I'm done. Like I'm phoning it in. I'm not going to want to do anything. I also don't want to do 7 exercises first and do that absolutely last. But you have to factor in, how you're going to feel after a certain exercise. So keep that in mind. I don't know. I don't understand why people cry and complain about Bulgarian split squats. Have you seen those videos? You know why you put your head down when you're doing Bulgarian split squats so no one can see you crying. I feel like people that bitch and moan about Bulgarian split squats are brutal. These are people that don't train hard. Every exercise is brutal if you do it properly. I don't think Bulgarians are any worse than any other exercise. I don't know why people have this like emotional damage for Bulgarians. Like it's the same fucking thing as a squat or a hack squat. I don't see people crying about a hack squat or a leg press. It's the same kind of suck. It doesn't make any, I don't get it. And plus, like Bulgarians, you're doing stupid shit if you're trying to hold 2 dumbbells and balance. People are like balancing and they're freestanding. Hold on to something. Why are you trying to wobble? That's the dumbest thing. If you're doing Bulgarians, hold on to a bench, hold on to a squat rack and do it. Or use a Smith machine. You'll do better. Instagram is going to end in about 2 minutes. So drop your last chance questions. Come on over to Rumble and YouTube at The Daily Swole. Here we go. Drum roll. I got a burp coming. Oh, yeah. Hadouken! 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 Since we're not doing OT today, we'll stay a little bit longer and take some more questions. I think they'll be valuable. Good conversation so far. Good conversation. I don't know why Instagram is only giving me, I guess it gives me half an hour or an hour max. I don't remember it ever giving me like 1 minute remaining in the past. Mark says I use a pole when I do them. I'm sure you do. Or I hold the wall out front. There you go. I'm sure you do hold a pole. Yeah. Mark holds a pole. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Let's see. LET says, I love them, but they are brutal when that last set of heaviest weight added. Definitely hold on to something for balance too. I get much better results when I'm balancing on something. Yeah. And if you're doing like right leg in front, hold the dumbbell in your right hand. Like I will never do like 2-arm Bulgarians. What are you holding on to? Unless you're doing a Smith machine, or what's also good is like the transformer bar or a Mars bar where you can actually like let go. Cause I have a transformer bar and I can actually pull the weight to the front and angle it. So I don't have to hold on to the actual barbell. And then I have handles I can hold on with my arms and then do my Bulgarians and kind of balance. So I can stabilize myself and just have the weight on my shoulders. Same thing with a Smith machine. You could do it that way. And also you can get a similar effect by doing a single leg press. Right? Instagram ended. Good riddance. Right? So like this is another thing that's underrated. People that are doing 2-leg press, it's different. Because if you do a leg press, you guys know this, if you do a leg press, a lot of times based on your foot position, your back might roll up based on mobility, or it's not comfortable, or you have to load up. Look, this can be a pain in the ass. And I do this in my home gym because it takes a lot of fucking plates. So if you're at a busy gym and you're like, I need to get 20 plates, and it's a busy gym, put on like 3 or 4 plates and do single leg. You'll be great. And a lot of people have imbalances with their legs. So if you want to get a Bulgarian split squat, similar type approach, do a single leg on a leg press or a squat press or something like that. You could do a single leg on a hack squat. It's just not as safe depending on the machine. Like you can get your leg trapped if you don't have supports and stuff like that. But single leg is fantastic with a leg press too, because if you get stuck, you got your other leg, bring it up and then get out of the hole and have those supports up. But single leg is great because you don't have to load to the same extent. You don't need 20 plates on each or total. You can do 4 or 4.5 or 5 or 6. Alex on Rumble. Papa Swole, on the topic of minimalist workouts, is there anything specific you do on upper body? For minimalist, it depends on what you mean by minimalist. So it would be exercises where And again, when we talk about minimalist, what matters also is what you're trying to target. So if you're trying to bring up your arms, a minimalist workout might prioritize biceps, triceps. You might do bis, tris, and then do like a fly and a pull. You know, you might, so it depends on what you're trying to prioritize. But a press, a pull, I mean, that's really all it is. If you're doing a press, you're getting your chest, shoulders, and triceps. You're getting the medial and the short head of the triceps if you're doing any kind of push. That's why I'm saying if you're doing a pushing movement, do some sort of long head focused tricep extension or like a pullover extension. I love pullover extensions on a cable or on a easy curl, like where you're leaning forward and your arms come up and then you pull down. So you're getting that shoulder extension, you're getting the long head, and it's always been much better on my elbow. Space Shuttle Door Gunner, good question. How often should a person take progress pictures? I'd say no more than at the most once a week. At the most once a week, at the most infrequent, I would say once a month. So every 2 weeks probably. But again, progress pictures, you got to be very careful with this because not everyone has good lighting. And again, you need to be the same lighting. Ready for that? You need to mark things properly. So you need to have the same lighting, the same camera, the same distance, the same clothes, the same position, as close as you can get to all those, right? You want to do it in the morning after you go to the bathroom, the same time you would weigh yourself. Because a lot of times people wear different things and the camera's at a different angle and you have the camera further back. So you look like you lost more weight if you're trying to lose, weight or fat loss. And then you're looking shorter, right? Or you have your pants a little bit lower. So it looks like you lost more, you pull them up higher and then you don't see your love handles as much. So you have to be very careful how you do it. If you're doing it for yourself, you want to do it like an underwear, where you can see the most of your body. Yeah, every 3 days is ridiculous. Even once a week, you're probably not going to see much. Because remember, you're trying to lose fat, but you're building muscle. It takes time. Once a month, 2 weeks, 3 days, you're going to, every 3 days is fine, but you're not going to see a difference unless you're getting towards like the few weeks or a month range. And this is the thing when I tell someone, hey, choose these exercise or change your protocol, people change this shit. That's the problem with things like CrossFit. It's like random shit. You do random stuff all the time. If you're changing your training program, I'm going to do higher weight and lower reps and this kind of the other. Okay, cool. Guess what? Do that for 4 months. And then let's see how, you can't do it for a month. Like, oh, I'm seeing great results. You might notice like, hey, I'm just feeling great, but you're not going to see the benefits of that kind of new training protocol in like a week. You have to do that for a couple months. So people are expecting results quicker and they're changing things all the time. They change things every other day and every workout. Of course you don't see progress. There's no consistency. There's nothing for your body to adapt to. You're doing random shit all the time. Main Marshall, I see a lot of people do finishers for building muscle. They'll hit a muscle, then go grab dumbbells, do an all-out set like they just hammered. It is unnecessary. That's a lot of fatigue, but you're not getting stimulus. If you're dropping weight like a drop set, I'm telling you, I used to do that stuff. Why? You get a good pump and it burns and you crush yourself. So you're psychologically, it's like you're flogging yourself. So it hurts, it's hard, it burns, sure. But if let's say you do 50 pounds for 6 reps. So your goal is 50 pounds for 7 or 50 pounds for 8. Cool. Then you do 50 pounds for 8. Stimulus achieved. You did it. You progressively overload. Your body adapted since the last session, X, Y, and Z. You're in the right direction. And then you drop it and you go to 25 and you start curling. What's that 25 doing? That's not the stimulus. It's not the tension that is going to build muscle. It was the 50 pounds for those 2 additional reps. So you're going curl 25s just to beat yourself up and feel like a badass. You're not doing anything. You're not. You're better off resting for a few minutes and then trying to hit 50 again for 7 or 8 reps. Charles says, I screwed up my diet and started losing reps on my lift. So I'm now in week 3 since I changed diet again, gaining reps and weight on the bar again. I cut out taters for breakfast and I was losing a rep within 4 weeks. So you maybe need more carbohydrates. Carbs are important. Cerny, my rack has a plate that can attach to my Smith bar. So I'd be laying on my back, pushing straight up. Haven't tried it yet, but not sure if it's worth it. I don't know what you mean. Has a plate. Your rack has, you mean an attachment you can buy? What does that mean? Laying on your back, pushing straight up. You mean you have a plate where you can lay on the Smith bar, like for hip thrusts? I don't understand. All right, Mark. Have a good weekend. Go to the fucking gym, you chode. Mike says, I just actually did some explosive Bulgarian split squats, body weight to work on some tendon strength and fast twitch muscles. You know how you work that? With heavy weights. That's how you work. That's how you build tendon strength. Nothing wrong with higher repetitions either. Just understand the trade-off between like more fatigue and more weight, more repetitions. Harder to gauge reps in reserve and such. Charles says, yeah, it's the carbs. I was trying to lean out while gaining, but I need carbs as I have found out. Yeah, you also don't need to drop things as much as you probably did. You probably cut too much. Remember, if your strength, but you caught it, right? A lot of people keep on going that and they lose a lot of muscle. So if your strength is not increasing, and again, you're not, let me stand my back. I want to stand up. Oh yeah. Come up a little higher. So you're not going to increase in weight and reps every single week. You want it to be more consistent, but if you're stuck at if you're stuck at a certain weight and reps for like a few sessions in a row, like maybe 4 or 5, 6, then maybe you change up the exercise or you readjust or you reassess, So to assume that every single time you train, you're going to see that number go up, but you want it to at least be the same. So if you go and you're normally doing 6 reps and then you kind of got 5 and you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. Sometimes you have an off day. Sometimes you do a set and you might have gotten 5, 6, 7 reps. The next time you get 5 or 6 and like, oh my God, I'm losing weight. I'm not eating enough. Like, okay, shit happens. And see if it comes, because sometimes you get a little more recovery or whatever, you come back and then it's great the next session, right? So just because it's not always increasing every workout doesn't mean that you're not making progress and doing the right thing. A lot of this is just kind of, it's like Shawshank Redemption. You're hammering a fucking concrete wall with a little tiny, rock hammer. It takes years to make an actual tunnel. So it takes time. Now, as you get more experienced, you might know, hey, I tried a couple different things and I see that strength decrease. You might be like, all right, that's not the right direction. I did too much, and you can stop the bleeding quick, but one session isn't really enough, But if you have like, oh, my strength, I dropped like a massive amount of carbs, and then your strength hit a wall. It's like, yeah, you dropped too much too quickly. That's a sign. You add it back in, the strength comes back. There you go. You need carbohydrates for heavy strength training. It's really important. A foot plate? Oh, for vertical? I don't like vertical leg press. It can be hard on the back, and it also can, it's really hard to get good range of motion for a vertical. I mean, you could try it if you look. I mean, here's again, that's my opinion. There are some machines that are vertical leg presses. I mean, it's a tool, right? Maybe you like it and, oh, it's really good. I like it with one leg, and maybe it works great for you. So I'm not here to say that you should never do it. But again, if you're comparing this versus this, it's like some exercise are hard to get into and hard to get out of. So if you can do that safely, this is why I like things like Smith machines, because if I'm doing an exercise like for chest press, I'd rather do my Smith machine because, one, it's easy to load and set up. I don't have to worry. Like, let's say I can't get the rep and I have to rack the bar. I have to get out of it. I have supports up. I have to get out. I can't just necessarily lift 200-300 pounds up onto the rack to start again. I have to take off the plates, lift the bar. With a Smith machine, if I'm like, oh, it's close, twist, boom, I can safely get out of that. And also having safety and security with an exercise allows you also to push harder and closer towards failure, especially if you are training by yourself, because you're secure. That's why I like the leg presses and pendulum squats and hack squats. I know I can just push and move the sled. I don't have to worry about falling over. And if I get stuck or I can't make it, I can like put it down. Okay, you bottom out and like, oh, you can hit the bottom. It's not going to crush me. I just have to, slide my feet forward. You're kind of like, you're protected. So psychologically, you can push harder knowing that you're in, like if I have a chest press machine, if I let go of the weight, it's going to go here. It's not going to trap my arms, not going to choke my neck. I can push, I can't get it. Boom. So I can push as hard as I can, knowing that it's not going to break me or kill me if I don't get the rep. And I do think there is a beauty in that too. There is a beauty in knowing, like doing heavy squats. I used to do heavy fucking squats and I used to be an asshole and not use like supports on certain things. I would step out of the squat rack and have 225 and do sets of 20, when I was first and I was like, it was just like blinding. And I'm like, oh my God. But I did that with the opposite approach with like, I need to get this rep. Otherwise I'm going to drop the weight or fucking die. So having that, like standing on the edge of a cliff and is like, all right, I need to get this rep. Otherwise. So having that fear or having that necessity, you better squat this. Either you make it or you don't. And I would make it, but it's not safe. You could do the same thing with supports and you should. And this was like a specific rack where I didn't have like really great supports. Or the bar was on the outside of the rack and whatever, but you drop the weight or if it's, and sometimes, and that's what's great at home too. If you have rubber weights and you have a good floor, because like, let's say you can't make it or you put crash pads, like if you have to drop it, you could drop the weight. In other words, you want to have a situation where you're safe to push close to failure, because if something happens, especially by yourself, you want to make sure that you're not going to be breaking yourself. I mean, honestly, fuck the floor, fuck the weights. The last thing you want to do is be crushed by weights because, you can kill yourself with some exercises. So you want to make sure that you want to make sure you're doing it wisely. So you're not putting yourself in a position where you're going to be fucked, Yeah, that's true too. John says, plus people can't spot for shit. They pull the bar and give me that last struggled rep. Yeah. I mean, people think spotting is not like something that everyone can do. Spotting is an art. It really is an art. It's knowing someone's limits. And the hard thing is, even if you're like a professional quality spotter, if you don't know the other person and what their struggle is and what their capacity is, it's hard to know how much to help. So in all honesty, if you don't really know someone, you're not training with them regularly, the best thing is to default to not making sure that they don't drop the bar in their face. So if you don't, and I know this from years and years of personal training, you have to understand what someone's struggle looks like. And if you don't know how that person works, you don't know what their limits are. People make all sorts of faces and they can struggle and move through. Sometimes someone has like a struggled rep, but they still have like 2 or 3 more. Some people just keep on fucking going. It just looks like they're really struggling a lot more than they were. They have a couple more in the tank and then you spot them. They're like, hey, what the hell? It's like, dude, you're barely moving the bar. Because sometimes people are like controlling it too much. Like, no, dude, explode. When your reps slow down, like that's just, so a lot of people don't know how to lift. And then again, people don't know how to spot. And if you're lifting really heavy weights, you need 3 spotters. And how often do you have like 3 people that know what they're doing? Because if you're lifting and squatting 300, 400, 500 pounds, one spotter ain't going to do it. One person's not gonna be like, okay, let me take that 500 pounds off your back. Oh, let me just lift you up. You need people one on each side. That's why if you watch any professional lifting, there's 1 in the back and at least 2 on the side. And usually other people, in case like they get stuck, you get more hands on the bar. So it's important. But again, that's the point of lifting heavier. Lifting heavier. The heavier you go, the more you can leave in the tank and minimize fatigue and get the benefits. So if you're doing 4 to 8 reps with 1 or 2 reps in reserve, because you're lifting such heavy loads, you don't have to get that last rep to failure, which is more fatigue than the stimulus. You don't need to get that last rep. But you also don't know what 1 rep in the tank is if you've never gone to failure. Good topics today. All right. Anything else? Let's see what we got in the phone. We do have a throwback. Let's do 2 throwbacks. We'll do 2 throwbacks, and then we'll move on to any questions or topics. Let's do those throwbacks today. Let's start off with this one. Oh boy.
Looks like me. 60% of Australians are considered plus size or overweight.
Ew, gross.
Everyone looks like me. Everyone's fat.
Wrong.
People are fat because they eat garbage, they don't exercise, and you're trying to justify it.
Hosting these retreats because it's really important as fat people that we have some positive representation.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's like a pre-diabetic fan club, essentially.
Top of that, some visibility. I feel that a lot of society...
I'm going to stop you. Visibility? No. Fat people do not need more visibility.
Fatness is something that people are working towards changing. And I think that slowly society will recognize that fat people should be accepted the way that they are right now.
What the hell is you talking about?
I don't know what this is supposed to be. Fat people aren't accepted? What do you mean? Most people are fat. You don't have to like it, but you're choosing to have your body look like this. I'm not giving you handouts or respect just because you don't take care of your body. I don't think that's a good way to live. All right. Oh, shit. I just saw a news report that said 4,500 gallons of nitric acid was spilled in St. Louis, as if St. Louis needed more shit to destroy that city. Wow. Toxic waste. Sweet. Shout out to St. Louis. Jesus Christ. Oh, boy. All right, let's see. Let's do... Oh, God. Let's do this one.
What's in the box?
Yes. In layman's terms, if you get the people at the bottom,
you want.
You know, when people have the big hoop earrings, they're called gauge earrings, and it stretches out your earlobe. So you have to go with a smaller one and then stretch it with a bigger one. You're stretching the skin out. This person's putting in you have to put a pump in to blow up the vagina, to open it up, to keep it open. Otherwise, the wound's going to close. It's going to like close, and disappear and heal because it's
expand it
pussy.
and stretch it like a muscle.
Pussy.
And in order for it to keep acting like a proper muscle, it has to stay active. You get what I'm saying?
Shut the fuck up.
So it has to get used to opening and closing and opening and closing.
Ugh, gross.
It is still recommended that you give a tune-up if you are not utilizing it.
Ladies, have you had your vagina seal up? Oh, it doesn't close. It's an organ. It's supposed to be open. Yeah, so you have a fake one, it'll close on you. Oh, Beyond Meat pussy. Gross. Gross. All right, we got a funny video. This is great. Let me pause this. Thought this was funny. Have you guys seen the marketing for the WNBA? They have billboards and ads and stuff that says, "Let her cook." And everyone's like, marketing didn't think that through. It's like, yeah, send them back to the kitchen. They should cook. Check this out.
Yeah, she can cook whatever she wants to. Meatloaf or pork steak, fried potatoes, that cornbread be good. Really anything.
Yeah, marketing team didn't think that through. You know, with all the shirts, like, you know, pay us what you owe us. And this says, let her cook. And they're like, you sure about that? You sure about that? Let her cook, huh? Let her cook indeed. Let her cook, baby. Let her cook. Now I guess this is going viral again. I think this is pretty well known with Mario. This is the title of today's episode. Just thought it was funny. So it's kind of going around the internet again. Nintendo says Mario and Princess Peach are just, quote, good friends who help each other out whenever they can. Oh, isn't that cute?
Hi, puppy.
So I said Mario will be played by Pedro Pascal. Emotional damage. You like that?
The little rascal has spirit?
Yeah. Well, I guess she's fucking Luigi or something. It's just weird. It's just weird. They're just good friends. Bro, Mario's a simp. Mario got friend zoned. Talk about those, like, he's got blue balls. He's doing all that shit to save the president because they're good friends. Dude. Bruh. So I said Mario's going to be, they're going to make a real life Mario movie. They already did. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. If you've never seen it, John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins. Best movie ever. They should have made a sequel. It was awesome. I love the OG Mario Brothers. Fuck you if you think otherwise. Hugely underrated movie. I love that movie. So Mario is going to be played by Pedro Pascal because he's a male feminist creep. So he's perfect. He's going to be feeling up. He's going to be feeling up Princess Peach, like grabbing her and like, oh, she's so wonderful. Mario is absolutely cucked. What a simp. What a simp. Fucking Mario. Mario.
Me happy.
All right, fam. Let's give away today's Swole card. Mia balls ache. Mamma mia. Mamma mia. Give me that beyond meat pussy. Give me that pussy. A Princess Peach. I want the pussy. It's me, Mario. I'm here for the pussy. I'm here for the pussy. It's me, Mario. All right. Well, today's winner is the one, the only, the great Dr. Delta. Hey, oh. All right. Mr. Delta, send us an email to support@sonormous.com. Daily Swole card 3367 in the subject emailing address in the body of the email. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay, here we go. It's me, Aaron. Jesus Christ. I think that's what they're going to do. Pedro Pascal is going to play Mario. It'd be perfect. It'd be awful, but it'd be perfect. It's me, Aaron. All right. Congratulations. Fam, let's get after it. Time to go to the fucking gym, make those gains. And we'll have some members only episodes this weekend. Only for members. Join us at SwoleNormousX.com. Thanks for being here. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, ya boy. Papa Swolio. Oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock's crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like...
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. Off topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in my element, no ollies, you children pop.